But I know what you guys are thinking. Hey, at least the mold's finally over, right, Denim? Right? Right? Right?
That's what I believe. You can be groomed for sure. No, and that's a good point, right? Is that like that's why I said as an adult is because like if you're a kid and like you get fed a lot of propaganda and like messaging, like I feel like every trans kid is actually a victim of a parent with a mental illness. That's what I believe. And so, like, I really, and this, you got a kid that's like 17, right? I mean, it's a little bit more, it's like not really as definitive. But like, if you have a kid that's like pre-puberty and they're trans, your parents have a mental illness. That's it. You can be groomed for sure.
You guys think this tweet looks good? Guy who lives like this wants to educate us on mental illness and parenthood. Do I send it? Full send? Full send. You guys know the drill. Juice that bitch. Juice it. Oh my god, dude. I don't even, it's like that one time when he said he's a traditional family enjoyer while he was dating a sex worker and is a Twitch streamer. Yeah. Oh god, dude. Oh fuck. Oh my god. Yeah, I just it's really sad because a lot of these like ideas about trans kids are so overblown because in reality what having a trans kid looks like, which is just something fundamentally a lot of like cis straight people like they've especially right wingers can't like understand is just like the kid saying, "Well, I kind of feel like a girl," and then being like, "Okay, whatever you want. I'm not going to force you to do whatever you don't want to do. Just yeah, whatever you want." And that's it. But the thing is, they actually have an ideology that they believe in and that they want to believe in. So when their kid says, "Well, I want the pink backpack," they say, "No, pink is for gays, okay? And that's for girls. You have to get the football backpack." And it's like, "But I just want that one." "Yeah, well, too bad." Or kids that are like, "I want to paint my nails." And it's like, "Well, you can't paint your nails." It's like, what? It sounds like you just kind of want to shove people into the straight cis box and you get upset when your kid doesn't do that thing. I just don't. I like it's insane to me. It's insane to me, like to even consider that. They don't want to be judged by other idiot parents. It's just so stupid too. It's I had someone tell me that the Bible clearly states two genders God created, male and female. I told them if he created male and female, they also created intersex people. And then they suspiciously stopped replying. uh, because they're powerless in their own lives. They want to exert their power over someone else. Yeah. Yeah. It's just so insane. I just like don't I just don't understand it. It's like someone else also mentioned it as well. Society's already so fucked in that it like forces people into these rigid boxes and you have to identify as one or the other in all of these different places in our lives. And you as a parent, you won't even give your kid one space where they can feel safe. Like this is like the type of parents that force their kids to conform to what they think those kids should conform to. The reason your kid doesn't speak to you about things is because you refuse to listen. I hate society and gender norms. I used to paint my 5-year-old's nails until the other kids at school started bullying him. He's so sweet and kind. He doesn't realize they're bullying him. So now we paint his toenails while I try and navigate him defending himself without crushing him. Aw. It's just like, is that not what parents are supposed to do? They're not supposed to provide an environment that's safe for their kids so your kids can feel comfortable talking to you about these things, that they won't like that at least like if your kid feels comfortable enough to say like, well, what if I'm trans or whatever? And if you don't give them
6-time bankrupted, 34-time convicted felon president will be able to get tariffs right. Tariffs that have already failed twice before in this country.
So he's a great businessman. You're just a hater with Trump derangement syndrome. Like, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I didn't tell my parents shit because I didn't feel like I could trust my parents with anything because I felt like I would just get in trouble anytime I tried to talk to them about anything. I had very strict parents. I had a very strict curfew. I had to get all A's, and occasionally I was allowed to get B's. And so I just started getting crafty with it because I knew I couldn't. I had to because that was the only way I was allowed to do anything. Because when you close that door to your kids, they will go somewhere else, right? And I would much rather, as a parent, or even as a kid, that I would much rather, as a parent, that a kid would prefer to be comfortable enough to talk to me about that, about their difficulty with gender or gender roles or gender norms. Because I do think as a kid, you spend a lot of time like not sure because the world is so new and it's so different and it's so bizarre and you're just trying to understand the rules. Like so much of childhood is just figuring out what the fuck the world's rules are because they're just totally arbitrary and you don't know them. And so you're like, oh, I'm not allowed to do that? Okay. Am I allowed to do that? Okay. And I feel like you grow out of a lot of phases. Like I was definitely very tomboyish when I was younger. Not that I ever thought I was a guy or anything, just that I was tomboyish. That it's just like I just didn't care about how I looked. And I just wanted to be I didn't get into, well, I got into some physical altercations as a kid. Pre-puberty. I got into some altercations. But I just didn't like, also didn't get along with kids. I was fucking 117, okay? I was really annoying. I threw hands. I threw feet, okay? And I realized you can't do that. And it's bad. And as I've gotten older, I've become like, I feel like more femme. And I've learned to appreciate that stuff, right? But I can see a universe where like, this is like the most reasonable steel man position of like the right winger position, which is you don't want to confuse kids by telling them that they are or aren't any specific gender because kids have phases and they grow out of those phases, right? Maybe your kid wants to present very masculine and they see a lot of stuff about trans people and they think maybe they're a man, right? But the thing is, no one's saying you have to guide your kids in a direction. They just tell you something. You're like, okay, well, what do you want to do? Well, I want to dress like this. Okay, sure, we can dress like that. It doesn't mean you go to the fucking gender store and get them reassigned. Like, you just let them be happy and feel comfortable. Explore what that's like. Explore what dressing more masculine or dressing more feminine or acting more feminine or dressing more feminine looks like and feels like for them. And see how they feel. Like, you don't have to fucking get hormones. You don't have to get puberty blockers. You don't have to do any of these things. It's just about letting them explore. And if you don't let them explore, guess what? That's how you end up with people who end up detransitioning. Because they didn't get a chance to explore it at all. Although I'm not talking about the people who are desisters or whatever, the people that like actively petition and work against transitioning. There's not anything wrong with like letting kids dress how they want and explore how they want. And wouldn't you much rather have your kid come to you than like find out that like your teenager is getting some DIY drugs and you can't figure out where they're getting them from or how safe they are or whatever? Wouldn't you much rather that you get to be there for them and you get to tell them, hey, well, how about this? Before you do any of that stuff, let's try this. I'm listening to you. I will respect you. I will follow everything you want me to follow or like whatever, however you want to be referred to as. And in a year, we can explore this option. If you feel like they aren't 100% sure. Like, wouldn't you rather open that avenue and open that door for them? But instead, what? You just like make fun of trans kids' parents and say, well, clearly all those parents are mentally ill. And it's such like a misunderstanding of trans people as well, because like most trans people are not lucky enough that they have parents that are understanding. Most trans kids have unbelievably transphobic parents. And guess what? They leave home, they cut off their family, and they get to live their life being trans just without their family. It doesn't matter how strict your parents are and how hard they fucking push you into a box. If you are one thing or another thing, like, they're not going to stop you from being that. Had my parents not let me get hormones after starting to get comfortable with my trans identity, I'd probably be on DIY. I'm much safer not being on it. Exactly, yeah. And it's like, again, wouldn't you much rather have, like, your kids come to you and say, like, I really want to get on these hormones or whatever, but I'm not supposed to be on them or whatever. And at least you can guide them. You can do some research on your own. If you're uncertain about their decision, that you can be like, okay. I know you want to rush into this decision. I'm scared that you're going to make a decision that you will later regret, right? But let's tell you what, how about this? We'll do everything else that you want. In a year, we can explore that option. Like, what, isn't it much better to have a support system for? Anyways, I hate this idea that any parents that are open to their kids are like clearly mentally ill. It's so infuriating. And it's just like so disgusting and gross. Like, I'd rather have a living trans daughter than a dead cis son. Yeah, I guess Elon Musk would disagree with you. I guess Elon Musk would disagree with you. Plate Smasher, thank you for the prime. Thank you. The bar is already so rigorous. He's insinuating the medical professionals also have mental illnesses. Yeah, I don't even want to get into that. It's like that's the other factor as well. They just pretend like you can just go to the gender store and you can get hormones, you can get puberty blockers, you can get a sex change at any age if you just ask for it. You just go in once and they're like, okay, well, what day is good for you? And it's like, what the fuck do you... I mean, Trump literally got on stage and said, kids are coming home with sex changes. And then, and the most annoying part is like, if you've spoken to one trans person, just one trans person, they will tell you that it takes years. You have to have psych evaluations, you have to have a therapist, you have to have multiple appointments with multiple doctors. And if you're under 18, you also have to have multiple appointments with like pediatricians. Or, yeah, pediatricians, right? That's the word. Like, you don't just get to go in and then get what you want within like a day or two. Like, what the fuck? No. My trans friend is an adult and it took years of therapy to get on just hormones. I can't even get evaluated for autism. You think people are just getting full-blown transitions in a day? Yeah. The Gender Store is my favorite Death Grips album.